this assassination happened.
And they sprayed his car.
Yeah,
right.
He was just driving through the town square area with all the stores and shops in front of the Starbucks. In fact,
Tegan, I know what case this is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna set it straight for you.
Bring it.
Because this is fascinating.
I mean, how much do you learn from being able to...
Well, I'll tell you what, I could, if I wanted to hop back in the drug game now, I got people in Colombia that could send me up a ton of coke. I got Mexicans in the Maíza and the Chapiza cartels in Mexico that could move it for me. I mean, of course I'm under a microscope. I'd be arrested before, but it's so wild. Like, I know it's incredible. I have a PhD in like what the underworld is really about. And it's ugly. I'll tell you that.
Oh, it's always been ugly.
Yeah, for sure. I
don't know if it's getting uglier or just if that's all perception, but I mean, it's a modern day. I think the more primitive you go back, the uglier it actually was.
Do you think so? Because you could get killed easier and there was no consequences?
Yeah, just a worse way to get killed too. I mean, people that now have other ways of accomplishing what used to just be, hey, we're going to cut you to pieces, slow but sure,
right,
and have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Well, certainly in this country, but let me tell you, that still goes on in, we were down in Colombia last year, and it still happens there. But in the rural, like, because Colombia is this international country now, and there's so much tourism, so the cities, just like in America, have gotten a lot. And for the most part in Mexico, have gotten a lot more pacified. Everybody, you're not going to see armed convoys of people. It's kept beneath the surface. But when you go to the countryside, that's where it's like
it's
like 1910, bro.
Right?
These fucking, savage.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. They're the techniques are the same, but they've had to change the way most of the levels leading up to that function. Mm-hmm. Similar to the way the gangs used to just put all their stuff all over their body and say, this is who I am.
Wearing red.
Until they figure out that I'm going to go to prison just for my tattoos.
Right.
And they're like, we got to figure out a more slick way to still be involved in this, but do it a little differently.
Exactly.
More on the down low, right?
Men seem to do most of the crime. Most of the crime that I'm interested in exploring, But I would love to get a female, like, drug trafficker on because they're big in the game. I just, for some reason, I've never been approached. I mean, I get hit up all the time by people trying to get on my show, and I've never been offered to talk to like a female drug kingpin, for example.
Man, because it seems like that's the way to go too. If you want to get more creative about how you would approach trafficking now, you would leverage things like that, like they do in the terroristic war type arenas.
I think a lot of them haven't been caught. I think a lot of people they work in a lot of the money laundering side. Like when you talk about females in the cartel, there are some drug traffickers, but they're moving stuff across, meeting with accountants across borders. They're, as I say, they're setting up shell companies, right? Moving money around.
So they're less an enforcer type.
I mean, there are sicarias. Yeah. Sicarias, definitely. We talked to a guy last year in Guadalajara, and he told us, from A to Z, walked us through how he was recruited by the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, Los Cuatro Letras, the 4 letters, all the way to how he got out. It was the most harrowing hour of podcasting I've ever done. But he was telling us that, at like the training site where they train these new recruits to shoot, to kill, about half of the new recruits were female.
And that's so smart, I think.
It's smart, or it's like, it's not like they force these people. They just need bodies. And so it's they manipulate them, of course. And once they're in the system, you can't leave.
So you think it's kind of attrition? It's not necessarily part of a plan?
I think that females are just choosing to become soldiers because they can do anything we can now. Like it's just kind of, they don't discriminate based off gender in the cartels.
Yeah.
And I thought Mexico's this super misogynistic place, and maybe in certain respects, but they're like, okay, young people from the countryside in Mexico, still have no way to earn a real living. And so that's they come to it for the same reason that young men do.
Money.
You know?
But it seems like you would approach it in a completely different way. You wouldn't just say, hey, we're going to elevate this female and she's going to be, she's got 100 bodies under her. She's obviously earned her way to the top. It just seems like a different approach altogether. Can be so much more slick.
Well, you have to be born that slick shit to have a place of influence and power within the cartel. Unless you're very lucky moving up the ranks on the military side, you have to be already connected into the drug trafficking, money laundering side.
But there's plenty of females that are familially connected.
Oh yeah, and trust me, in the late Mencho's family, in the late Chapo and Mayo factions of the Sinaloa cartel, there were females in all of their indictments.
Yeah,
and again, it was mostly, but they try to keep their records clean. That's why a lot of them don't let the women get involved in the actual drug trafficking, because we need you to
put your name on this
go
house.
Get fake passports. Yeah, go put the name on the house, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's kind of a traditional way to use it. Maybe I'm just off base too, but I just think if you were going to leverage something new and creative and try to go manipulate the system the way it's set up, because you also have majority of law enforcement guys who combat the cartels in the same freaking way, in this giant wheel spin.
Right.
It just seems like that would be super slick to leverage.
Do you think Dallas is a hub? We're in Fort Worth, but Dallas, Fort Worth, there's got to be some cartel cells here.
There has to be. It wasn't but a few years ago they had one of the accountants was murdered in Southlake.
Yeah, tell me that story. Remind me that. I remember seeing that.
He was just going to the store, was in a enterprise rental, and they apparently had been doing surveillance on him for over a year. I don't know why it took him so long to put a case together, but he apparently had tried to defect. I guess you don't take that gig and then decide you kind of quit. And he was in the town square, which Southlake, you got to understand, Southlake's like a bubble. In DFW, Dallas Fort Worth is, Fort Worth at the far west and Dallas at the far east. Southlake is in the square middle, and it's, a high income area.
Right.
You have no crime there at all. And they probably hadn't had a murder there in a few years until this assassination happened.
And they sprayed his car.
Yeah. Right. He was just driving through the town square area with all the stores and shops in front of the Starbucks. In fact,
Tegan, I know what case this is. Yeah. And I'm going to set it straight for you.
Bring it.
Because this is fascinating. So this actually happened about 10 years ago.
That's about right.
If I'm not mistaken. That's about right. So this was a guy who, yes, he was an accountant with the cartel, but this was the Gulf cartel. So the eastern side of Mexico, right? Which makes sense. She's close to Texas. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember the exact reason that this guy needed to get hit, but the way they actually solved that murder, a Mexican guy who was connected with the cartel, whose family was being threatened in Mexico by the guy that wanted to have the accountant touched. They figured out how to put a tracking device under his car, and they tracked him down that way. And the law was able to, they took that tracking device off and they geolocated where the person who was looking at the tracking device was, just through their IP.
Oh, wow.
And you know what's wild now? Like I do a ad reads for VPN sponsors. Right. I'm like, if this motherfucker had just had Express VPN, he'd be alive
today.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, but they ended up, because that was that was like a murder out of like the show Ozarks, right? Like that shit doesn't happen in real life.
Right. Especially there.
In a Pleasantville, Texas town.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's like a high-end,
crazy,
sparkly diamond neighborhoods.
Right. Exactly. Everybody's on pills. They're all swingers,
but then the only other death I think recently that happened over there was the overdose of one of the Texas Rangers pitchers or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
From the Rangers was the visiting team or something.
Yeah, they all go to swingers parties on Saturday and then wake up and go to their mega church church on Sunday. Texas is a weird fucking place, bro. Dallas especially. Dallas is you guys you got a lot of plastic surgery. You guys just kind of keep it up here. You're like, everything is great. And then, but behind closed doors, the dad is, beating the wife and screwing the kids.